Hey everyone, it's Jenna Melanson from Canadian Beats Media. Today I'm joined by 604 Records artist Simon Clow for our latest segment of 5 Qs. So welcome, Simon.
Well, hello, Jenna. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. So first off, care to introduce yourself with our listeners?
Well, why not? Since you did just a great job there. But I am
Well,
Simon Clow. My name is Simon Clow, artist formerly known as Kadooh. I just recently rebranded as myself. Not that I wasn't myself before, but this is what you get. No matter what you want to call it, this is what you get.
for sure. So you've unveiled your single Once Upon a Bar. Tell us a bit about the creative process behind the release.
Um, well, it was a song that Jeff Johnson and I wrote. He's produced a bunch of my stuff, actually, a good majority of. And he approached me with the idea, and he kind of had he had already started. Pardon me. He had already started a good portion of the chorus when he kind of approached me with it, and I thought it was such a great idea because um, it also it's like a little bit of an escape to somewhere tropical. There's a little bit of a love story there. And we just kind of started spitballing. I went up and got in the room with them, and we started recording it, and yeah, it turned into a great little song, and I'm excited. It's been very well received so far, so
Yeah.
that's good.
So, as you mentioned, you're not new to the music scene. You were previously in the rock band State of Shock, as well as your solo career under Kadooh. What triggered the rebrand?
Well, I've grown a lot in the last few years, and um, I kind of just wanted to get back to my small town roots. And Simon Clow was the kid that grew up in the prairies in Hannah, Alberta, and it is who I am. And I also wanted to pay some homage to my mother, since she did name me, and
For
uh,
sure.
and she always drops little subtle hints. She's like, "Well, Simon is a nice name." I understand that, Mom, since you gave it to me. So I think it was just really time for me to be me, I guess. And like I said, not that I haven't been, but it's just nice to kind of. I've had so many nicknames, and I've been at the West Coast now for 20 years, 20 plus years, and I got labeled as Kadooh, stamped per se, within probably the first couple weeks of me moving to the West Coast. So I've had that handle for quite a long
Okay.
time.
Okay.
But yeah, it's I think it's just time to be who I am. That's me.
Now, with the rebrand, though, you're still doing country music.
Yes, ma'am.
In my opinion, it's very much the same music, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, just
So it's
I haven't.
just the
Yes,
name that has changed.
yes, yeah. No, I'm still, like I said, I guess I should say I'm still me, and I still want to write. I'm still writing, the kind of music that makes me happy, and
Hmm.
it's and I think that I definitely have a little bit of a rock flavor.
Hmm.
Growing up in the prairies, I grew up surrounded by country music, and then as I became an angry teenager, I got into rock music,
Yeah.
and I really enjoy rock, and I enjoyed that time with State of Shock, and we got to travel the continent and play with some of my favorite bands at the time, and it was an unbelievable experience.
Hmm.
Um, and then as I matured and got a little older, okay, wait a minute, I shouldn't call myself mature, because I'm such a juvenile at heart. As I got older, um, I just got into, I don't know, I just started writing country music, and coming up with these ideas on acoustic guitar, and I was just kind of throwing them to people here and there, and then Jeff Johnson, who I'd met years before when he was actually um, an artist at 604 at the time, years
Okay.
and years and years ago now. He asked me, "It's like, you got a really unique voice. Have you ever thought about being the guy in the middle?" And as terrifying as it is, I was like, "Well, I did kind of move to the West Coast to be in music, and I hadn't really done music for 2 or 3 years, so I just jumped right in. Why not?"
Yeah, definitely. So through your career, you've probably worked with quite a few fellow Canadian artists, but who would you work with if you were given the choice? Who would you want to work with?
As far as Canadian artists,
Yeah.
I really have a lot of respect for Andrew Hyatt. I think he's really cool. I really like his tunes. We're obviously on the same label as well, so it's not too hard of a far. It's not too far of a cry to probably work with him.
No.
I also, Tim Hicks is another guy that I have a lot of respect for. There's a ton of great Canadian artists. Um, when in the State of Shock days, we toured with Default a lot, so
Yeah.
or Default, however you want to say it. So I obviously know Dal very
Yeah.
well, and I respect his tenacity and how great of a talent he is. This answer could go on and on and on and on.
For sure, I think it could.
Yeah,
All good
there are.
answers, though.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for everybody within the industry, and
Hmm.
I always like to say, just because we're all running the same race doesn't mean we can't cheer for each other. So,
Exactly. I like that.
yeah.
What's your go-to cover song to perform?
Well, it used to be Save a Horse.
Okay.
It was always my go-to karaoke, or like the band. I'd go into a country bar somewhere, and the band would be like, "Hey, you want to get up?" I'm like, yeah, you guys do Save a Horse,
For
because
sure.
I could holler the hell out of that, no problem. Now it's kind of, I throw in a few different covers in my set. It's nice. Usually, I get to play just solid originals from
Yeah.
start to finish, but it's also nice to throw in some crowd pleasers especially when you're a newer artist and people might not know all your songs. So I enjoy doing like Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks.
Okay.
I do like doing Thunder by the Imagine Dragons. That's another fun one. Um, there's a really cool Hardy tune that we've done a few times. It's very rock, but it's called Turn Me Down.
Okay.
It features Morgan Wallen and Zach Wilde, which is interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm so stuck in the Canadian music that sometimes I don't recognize
Well, see,
other
now
music.
we gotta branch you out a little, right?
I know, I know. It's horrible. A lot of times I'm just like, uh-huh.
Well, I mean,
But I know
we
who they
can't
are.
probably can't even imagine how many artists that we don't know of, especially south of the border.
Hmm.
But,
Definitely.
yeah.
What else do you have up your sleeve for 2023?
That's why I cut the sleeves off. Um, Couple more shows coming up. Basically, put this. We're sending Once Upon a Bar to Canadian radio on Wednesday, the 19th, July 19th.
Hmm.
So hopefully they take liking to it and
Hmm.
spin it on the airwaves and subject everybody to it until they're sick of hearing it. Would be awesome.
For
But
sure.
I've got another EP coming out with another 5 songs, brand new tunes. Really excited about. Put a lot of effort into it. Um, I've got a duet with Tegan Gase. She's
Okay.
from Kelowna.
Yeah.
She's on the title track actually of the EP called Gravel and Smoke, and I'm
Okay.
really excited to release that one. For anybody that I've played it for has
For
been
sure.
it's been very well received. So it's exciting and stressful, and I try not to be anxious about it because it is what it is.
For sure.
You're as a musician and an artist, you kind of put your heart on your sleeve and just,
Hmm.
this is me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be it's whether the EP comes out at the end of this year or early next year. But stay tuned because there's more tunes coming.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that's it for 5 Qs. Thank you for joining me and congrats on the single.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.